I've worked with horticulturalists and extension specialists who feed this country for a living, and every single one of them agrees on something most homegrowers never hear. The number one killer of home herbs isn't the weather. It's not the bugs, it's not your green thumb, it's the pot. Right now, people just like you have tried growing basil, mint, or parsley and watched them yellow, wilt, and die. They blame themselves. I just wasn't born with a green thumb. It was never them. The container was strangling the roots the entire time through a real process called root binding, and nobody explained it. Until now. This fabric grow bag fixes all of it. Today I'm walking you through the complete system, built for your backyard, your patio, your porch. No complicated tools, no raised beds, no expensive setup, just basil, mint, and parsley growing fat, fragrant, and full ready to snip straight into your kitchen. Here's exactly what you'll learn. The precise bag sizes top growers use for these three herbs, the 3-ingredient soil mix that makes roots breathe and herbs taste extraordinary, the single cut that doubles your basil harvest, the mint mistake that quietly kills the plant, and how to stop it cold. Which herb are you starting with, basil, mint, or parsley? Drop it in the comments right now. Let's grow. Before we touch a single seed, I need to show you something that changed the way I grow forever. Because until you understand why grow bags work, you're just guessing. And guessing is what kills herbs. Here's what happens inside a regular plastic pot, and nobody talks about this. Roots grow outward, hit the hard plastic wall, and keep going. They start circling, around and around, wrapping over each other, strangling each other. Scientists call this root binding. What you see on the outside? A plant that wilts fast, barely grows, and eventually quits. Sound familiar? Now here's what happens inside a fabric grow bag. When roots hit the porous wall, they hit air. That burst of oxygen at the root tip triggers something remarkable. The tip stops. The plant immediately fires off fresh new roots from the source. Horticulturalists call this air pruning. According to Ohio State University Extension, it forces the plant to build a dense, fibrous root system far healthier than anything plastic ever produces. More roots, more surface area, more water and nutrients absorbed, more flavor in your herbs. One more bonus nobody mentions. Breathable fabric prevents soil from overheating in summer, one of the biggest silent killers of container basil. Roots stay cool. Drainage stays perfect. Root rot barely gets a chance. This isn't a gimmick. This is plant biology working for you. If you've ever had a plant die in a regular pot and never knew why, type root bound in the comments. Hit subscribe because next we're getting into exact bag sizes for each herb. Getting this wrong is one of the most expensive beginner mistakes I see. Stay right there. Let's talk about size, because this is where most beginners lose the entire season before they even realize it. Too small roots run out of room, the plant stresses, herbs turn bitter and thin. Too big soil stays waterlogged between waterings, roots drown. There's a sweet spot for each herb. Here are the exact numbers. Basil is a lateral fibrous rooter whose roots fan out wide, not deep. One plant needs a 1 to 3 gallon bag, roughly 8 to 10 inches of soil depth. Want a big lush bush or multiple plants? Go to a 5-gallon bag, done. Parsley is the opposite. It drives one strong taproot straight down like a little carrot. It hates shallow containers. You need a minimum of 10 to 12 inches of depth. That's a 2 to 3 gallon bag at the smallest. Give it that depth, and it'll produce thick, fragrant stems all season long. Mint gets its own bag, always, non-negotiable. Mint spreads through underground stems called rhizomes and will take over every inch of soil it can reach. Plant it with basil or parsley, and within weeks, mint wins. Keep it in its own 2 to 5 gallon bag, and it stays lush, controlled, and completely manageable. Screenshot this right now because next we're filling these bags with the perfect soil mix, and I'm going to show you why the soil from your hardware store is actively working against your herbs. Here's the mistake that kills more container herbs than anything else. People grab regular potting soil, fill their grow bag, and wonder why their basil droops by July. That soil wasn't designed for growing bags. Regular potting mix is formulated for rigid plastic containers that hold water in, but fabric bags breathe and drain constantly. Pack them with heavy potting soil, and it compacts, chokes the roots, and either stays waterlogged or dries out like a brick. Either way, your herbs suffer. What you need is a lightweight, soilless mix. 3 ingredients. That's it. Ingredient 1, coconut coir, fibrous material from coconut husks. Holds moisture without ever getting soggy. Stays light and fluffy even after weeks of watering. This is your base 40% of your total mix. Ingredient 2, perlite. These white pellets are volcanic glass, heated until they pop like popcorn. They create air pockets throughout your mix so oxygen reaches the roots constantly and excess water drains straight through. No compaction, no suffocating. 30% of your mix. Ingredient 3, finished compost or worm castings. This is the food. Slow-release nutrients, beneficial microbial life. Worm castings are even gentler, a natural vitamin supplement for your soil. The remaining 30%. Pick it up, and it should feel light, almost fluffy. If it feels like cake mix, you've nailed it. This recipe keeps your basil lush, your parsley deep-rooted, and your mint thriving all season long. Now bags filled, mix ready, it's time to actually get your herbs planted. And parsley has a secret almost nobody knows, one that cuts its stubborn germination time in half. Don't go anywhere, I promised you a parsley secret. Here it is. Parsley seeds have a natural chemical coating on their shell. Researchers call them furocoumarins, and their entire job is to slow germination down. Left alone in soil, parsley takes 3 to 6 weeks to sprout, sometimes longer. Most beginners assume the seeds are dead and throw the whole bag out. Here's how you beat it in one step. The night before you plant, drop your parsley seeds into a bowl of warm water. Soak for 24 hours. That soak pulls the germination-blocking compounds right out of the seed coat. One critical detail. When time's up, pour that water away. Don't reuse it in your bag. You'll just pour the inhibitors right back onto your seeds. Sow no deeper than 1/4 inch. Keep the soil consistently moist. Be patient. That single overnight soak can cut your wait time significantly. Basil is the easy one. Fast, enthusiastic sprouting in just 5 to 14 days when soil stays between 75 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Sow no deeper than 1/4 inch. Starting outdoors? Wait until nighttime temperatures are reliably above 50 degrees. Basil hates the cold at any stage. Mint doesn't bother with seeds. Most mint varieties are hybrids that either don't produce seeds or grow inconsistently. Take a cutting instead. Find a healthy stem 4 to 6 inches long. Cut just below a leaf node, strip the lower leaves. Stand it in a glass of water on a sunny windowsill. Within 7 to 14 days, roots appear. Once they hit an inch long, transplant straight into your grow bag. Free mint. Every time. Your bags are filled, your plants are in. And here's where most beginners completely stop and lose half their harvest because of it. The real secret to bushy, productive herbs is what you do next with a pair of scissors. Here is the single most important thing I can teach you today, and most people never do it because it feels completely wrong the first time. When your basil hits 6 inches tall with 2 or 3 sets of leaves, you're going to cut it, right down the middle, on purpose, I know. Do it anyway. Find where 2 small leaves grow opposite each other on the stem that's a node. Cut the main stem a 1/4 inch above that node. What happens next is one of the most satisfying things in backyard gardening. Instead of one stem growing upward, the plant sends out 2 brand new branches from that node. Cut those the same way. 2 become 4, 4 become 8. That's how you turn one scraggly basil plant into a full, overflowing bowl of fresh leaves by midsummer. 2 rules: never remove more than 1/3 of the plant at once, and never pluck random individual leaves that strips energy without triggering new growth. Now the most important rule with basil: the moment you see a flower bud forming, pinch it off immediately. Once basil flowers, it stops making leaves, and the ones left turn bitter. Pinch every bud the second it appears, no exceptions. Parsley grows from a central crown, so always harvest the outermost, oldest stems first, cutting right down at the base. This keeps the inner heart actively producing fresh growth all season long. Mint follows the same node cutting rule as basil. Cut above a node, keep it from flowering, and it will give you more leaves than you know what to do with. If this just changed the way you think about growing herbs, hit that like button right now. Next, feeding and watering. And I'm going to tell you why doing too much of both is silently killing your plants. Two things people almost always do too much with container herbs: too much water, too much fertilizer. Both feel like love, both can kill your plants. Water first. Grow bags drain and breathe faster than regular pots, which is exactly why they're great for roots. But they also dry out quicker, especially in summer heat. The mistake most beginners make is watering on a fixed schedule. That schedule doesn't account for rain, cooler days, or how fast your specific bag is drying out. Here's the only rule you need: stick your finger 1 inch into the soil. Feels moist and walks away. Feels dry water deeply until it flows freely from the bottom. Then walk away again. No schedule, just the finger test. Basil likes consistently moist soil, never soggy. Mint is thirsty, check it more often in heat. Parsley falls right in between. Now feeding. Here's something that genuinely surprises people. Over-fertilizing your herbs makes them taste worse. The essential oils that give basil its sweetness, mint its coolness, parsley its brightness, are produced when the plant works a little. Flood it with synthetic nitrogen, and it grows fast, but the flavor thins out. Lush leaves, bland taste. Use an organic liquid fertilizer instead of fish emulsion or seaweed blend, both excellent at half strength. Every 2 to 3 weeks for basil, once a month for mint and parsley, and one rule that applies to all three: never feed a stressed plant. Wilting or yellowing herbs need water and diagnosis first, not fertilizer. Feed gently, water wisely. Your herbs will give you everything they've got. Next, the most common pests that will show up uninvited, and exactly how to stop them using things already in your kitchen. Every gardener deals with pests, every single one. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong, it means something living found something it liked. The goal isn't a pest-free garden, it's catching problems early and handling them simply without harsh chemicals on herbs you're going to eat. Here are the 4 most common visitors and exactly what to do about each one. Aphids, tiny soft-bodied insects, usually green or black, clustering on new growth and leaf undersides. Telltale signs: sticky residue and curling tips. First, move a strong blast of water. Garden hose or spray bottle on jet. Knock them off. For persistent cases, 1 teaspoon of cold-pressed neem oil plus a 1/4 teaspoon of mild dish soap in 1 quart of warm water. Shake and spray always early morning or evening. Never midday sun. It burns. Spider mites, fine webbing on leaf undersides, tiny yellow speckling across the surface. Same fix water blast first, then neem oil spray every 7 to 10 days. Slugs, large irregular holes in leaves, usually overnight. Blend 2 garlic bulbs and 2 hot peppers into a liter of water. Let it sit for 24 hours. Strain it. Spray around the base of your bag. Slugs hate it. Powdery mildew, looks like someone dusted white flour on the leaves. 1 tablespoon of baking soda in 1 liter of water. Spray directly on affected areas. Simple, inexpensive, it works. The single best prevention for all of these: airflow and dry leaves. Water at soil level, never overhead. Space your bags so air moves between them. Healthy, breathing plants fight back naturally. If this video has already given you something useful, subscribe right now. More herb growing guides are coming and you won't want to miss them. Here's something most people never think about, and it makes a real difference in how your herbs taste. The time of day you harvest matters. Overnight, herbs rebuild their essential oils, the compounds responsible for every bit of flavor and fragrance. By early morning, after the dew dries but before the sun gets hot, those oils are at peak concentration. Harvest then, and your basil smells almost intoxicating. Harvest at 2 in the afternoon, and you're getting a noticeably flatter version of the same leaf. Your window is 7 to 9 in the morning. That's your golden hour, and no matter when you harvest, never take more than 1/3 of the plant at once. Take too much, and you set it back by weeks. Basil snips whole stems above a node, never individual leaves. Sharp, clean scissors every time crushing stems with dull blades invites disease. Parsley always starts with the oldest, outermost stems, cut right down at the base. Protects the young inner growth, keeps the plant producing all season. Mint clip stems or thin out long runners. Harvest just before it flowers for the sharpest flavor. Once it blooms fully, the menthol oils begin to fade. Now storage, and one critical mistake ruins beautiful basil every single time. Do not refrigerate basil. Cold air causes rapid oxidation. Those gorgeous green leaves turn black within hours. Treat it like cut flowers instead. Trim the stems, stand them in a glass of water on your counter at room temperature. Fresh and fragrant for over a week. Parsley and mint are the opposite, wrapped loosely in a damp paper towel and refrigerated. For long-term storage, freeze basil blended with olive oil in ice cube trays. Mint and parsley can be air-dried and stored in jars. You grew it. Now you get to enjoy every bit of it. Final section coming up. We're pulling everything together, so you leave with a complete, confident plan. You just learn more about growing herbs than most people ever will. Here's what you now know. Fabric grow bags outperform every plastic pot you've ever owned, and you know exactly why. You have the precise bag sizes that give basil, mint, and parsley what their roots actually need. You have the 3-ingredient soil mix that keeps herbs breathing all season. You know how to crack parsley's stubborn germination with one overnight soak. You know the cut that doubles your basil. You know when to water, how to feed, what to do when the aphids show up, and exactly which morning window gives you the most flavorful harvest of your life. That's a complete system, and it fits on your porch, your patio, or the sunniest corner of your backyard. Picture this. A few weeks from now, you walk outside with your coffee, snip a handful of fresh basil before the sun gets hot. The smell hits you immediately, and you know exactly what's going on for dinner tonight. You grew that from a fabric bag, 3 ingredients, and what you learned right here. Now tell me in the comments, which herb are you starting with first? Basil, mint, or parsley? I read every single one. If this video gave you something real today, share it with one person who has a porch and a little time. They deserve a fresh herb garden too. See you in the next one.